Let's start by calling on the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of the faithful, and enkindle in us the fire of love. Send forth the Spirit, and we shall be revealed, and you shall be the faces of us. Let us pray. O God, by the light of the Holy Spirit, instruct the hearts of the faithful, grant that by sending the Holy Spirit, they may be fully wise and ever rejoice in His consolation. Through the saints of the Lord. Amen. I am your Sister Helen Driss from the Diocese of Sacramento, as I was introduced by Sister Linda, and I again thank you for inviting me here to your workshop. Really appreciate it. It's my honor to be here. I lived my Cursillo on September 2007 at Juan Diego Retreat Center in Linda, California. And my Vicuria is Saint Elizabeth. So I'm here to talk to you about the 3-day Cursillo, but I wanted to also give a comment about the pre-Cursillo, because as to what we do in our diocese, as far as the sponsor, like what you're saying, we actually have a sponsor worksheet, not worksheet, but like an informational about the sponsor. So there's certain questions that the sponsor needs to ask the candidate that has to be in a form, and they have to testify that they have asked all these questions to the candidate, and the sponsor has to attest and sign a document that they truly know this person. So the sponsor cannot just say, oh, I didn't know my role as a sponsor. So that's just my comment on the pre-Cursillo. But today I'm going to be talking about the 3-day Cursillo. And as Sister Linda also mentioned, there's one method only, 3 phases. The pre-Cursillo generates the Cursillo weekend, the Cursillo weekend generates the post-Cursillo, and the post-Cursillo generates the pre-Cursillo. And the 3-day Cursillo is a witness of Christ's friendship. What interests us the most is that the people become friends. And this is not our doing, but the Lord's. We all agree on that, right? But would you believe it if I tell you that the 3-day Cursillo is not the most important part of the method? What do you think is the most important? The post-Cursillo. The post-Cursillo, yes, is the most important part of the method. And if the post-Cursillo is functioning right, then everything else will work right. What is most important is that there are people who live and share the essentials of Christianity in their lives. People who, as we say, live in a climate of group reunion and are connected with the living Christianity at the old trail. We do not hold group reunions in altrias so that the 3-day Cursillo becomes possible. On the contrary, the 3-day Cursillo is organized so that there are a group of people whose members meet together and accept each other as they are, realizing that they can be more and be better, and who wish to make the journey from where they are to where God wants them to be, in the company of friends. So the 3-day Cursillo, above all, is the living and sharing of what is fundamental to being Christian through the method of friendship. It is the discovery of the invitation made to each candidate to come and see. It is an invitation to experience the reality of the triple encounter with self, Christ, and with others. The 3-day Cursillo is a method of providing the experience of the essentials of Christianity through the joyful communication of the faith. A method is a systematic, timely, and orderly procedures, ways, and means that lead to the achievement of the purpose. So the technique during the 3-day Cursillo. The technique for the 3-day Cursillo is the application of what Brother Seth has explained, the application of psychology and theology in an orderly manner, step by step. This is why there is a defined schedule for each day and the sequential order of the royals. Cursillos in Christianity reveal and put into practice the fact that theology, it is the study of God, right? And psychology, which is the study of man, are truly parallel. The practical results of theology and psychology in Cursillo are more than sufficient to convince us that when the gospel realities are explained and lived, those who only desire to be men now desire to be saints also. And those who only desire to be saints give more and more importance to the human factor and the nature that sustains grace. So here's another way of looking at this. The men and women who go to the Cursillo hoping to encounter themselves end up encountering God. You notice that? And the men and women who go to Cursillo hoping to find God end up finding themselves. And the end result is that all men and women who attend the Cursillo have the same opportunity to make the 3 essential encounters through the theology and psychology presented on the weekend. Therefore, when we follow what's on the weekend schedule, everything will fall into place according to God's plan and the freedom of the person. It is important, then, for the rector, rectora, and the team to understand that the activities and dynamics of the weekend schedule are based on theology, Christ and His grace, and psychology, the person and his freedom. The intended purpose is to provide opportunities for encounters so that the candidates become friends with Christ and eventually become friends with others. A good understanding of this, and I can guarantee you this, will help us avoid the temptation to change or to add things to the Cursillo. This quote from St. John Paul II that speaks about the founder in CHARISM helps us understand who has the authority to define the how and the why of a movement. He said, as the founder gradually discovers the various dimensions of the charism, he indicates the goals, the purpose to be reached, and that which defines the methods and the organizational structures. So you see, the technique used during the 3-day Cursillo is the implementation of both human and theological resources, the most important source being God's grace. So the purpose of the first night retreat is to facilitate a communication with oneself. And then the spiritual royals, the meditations, are to communicate the message. The lay royals are to bear witness to the message through our personal life. And the purpose of our acts of piety is to facilitate and bring about an encounter with Christ. The table groups facilitate a dialogue and encounter between people. The songs, the music, facilitate an environment to create a break, clear the mind, communicate. Let's be reminded, however, that the music should not be a performance or a concert. Rather, just sing simple songs. The leaders, the clergy, and the lay during the weekend facilitates a one-on-one communication between the leader and the Cursillista. How about the clausura? The clausura is a witness that Cursillo can be lasting through a sharing of our Christian lives in group reunion and altria. It is simple but profound. The place where the candidates become part of the altria community. Keep in mind, however, that the clausura is not a place for Mass. What is hoped for during the 3-day is that each candidate may experience a threefold encounter with self, with Christ, and with others. If the encounter with self does not happen, the other two encounters cannot take place because the candidate is not beginning from his true self. The encounter with self is important so that the candidate can see who he is, what he is like, what he wants, and whether he is directing his life where he wants it. If he is sincere, then he will be able to recognize and accept his possibilities and his limitations. Only in the most profound and authentic self can he encounter the living, near, and normal Christ. And as a consequence of encountering self and Christ, he will be able to encounter others. Everything during the 3-day Cursillo has been designed for this purpose, and we can say in an objective manner that this is the process that is followed in the presentation of the message. There are 3 stages that we move through during the 3-day Cursillo, and we know that. We keep saying that. Encounter with self, with Christ, and with others. So the first stage, the encounter with oneself. From the first night and through the first day until the Piety Royal, everything is aimed to facilitate the encounter with oneself. This is the reason for the silence of the first night, which continues until after the Mass on the next day. It aims to make room for the truth, for the person's true self to become evident. And then the meditations on the first night also, and on the following day, help the candidates to reflect on, let's say the first meditation, know yourself, helps the candidate to reflect on how he is. The second meditation, the prodigal son, helps the candidate to reflect on how Christ is. And then the third meditation, the 3 glances of Christ, helps the candidate to reflect how Christ sees him. So that's the first stage. The second stage is the encounter with Christ. From the Piety Royal until after the Leaders Royal, the message is aimed to facilitate an encounter with Christ. And then on the third stage, the encounter with others. From the Leaders Royal to the closing, or clausura, the message is aimed to facilitate an encounter with others. The 3 encounters are introduced to the person through friendship. Therefore, the 3-day Cursillo is an offer of friendship with self, with Christ, and with others. Again, the 3-day Cursillo, therefore, is an offer of friendship with self, with Christ, and with others. So now let's talk about prayer and palanca. So the proof of our personal and collective relationship with God is prayer. Prayer during the 3-day Cursillo is basic. It is pilgrims praying with pilgrims. Let us remember that Cursillo is preferentially, like Brother Seth said, but not exclusively for the far-away person. This is the reason for having a pilgrim's guide that is basic. Every person living the Cursillo will have an opportunity to build on his prayer life during their 4th day. Palanca and communal prayers that are being offered for the success of the 3-day Cursillo are communicated by those from the outside by means of individual prayers stimulated at group reunions or altrians. General palanca is received from within the Cursillo movement, such as from the dioceses and the regions, offering holy hours, acts of piety, masses, rosaries, etc. In some dioceses, though, personalized communications to candidates are sent through palanca notes or letters. In some cases, the sender is giving advice to the candidates on what to do or which attitude to take. It is not advisable to make these communications, since they could put undue pressure on the candidates. Personal letters should not be encouraged. The different forms of prayer can bring about two effects. Again, here it is again, the words theological effect and psychological effect. The theological effect always takes place because of the existence of the communion of saints, and which will always occur even if there's no mention made of the palanca received at the 3-day Cursillo. Then there is the psychological effect, which gives candidates awareness that the palanca is being done for them by someone or some group they do not know. During the 3-day Cursillo, prayer is explained through the royos or individually. Prayer is practiced through our acts of piety. And prayer is stimulated by specifying the possibilities of prayer on the service sheet, which will be supported by the group reunion. During the 3-day Cursillo, we must have an attitude of friendliness. You know that already. A friendly relationship is essential between the team of leaders, clergy, and lay people. The right treatment and attitude toward the candidate is important. Pay attention to details. First, with the organization of the weekend. Make sure everything takes place in an atmosphere of friendship and respect for the person. The most important thing on the part of the leaders, although of course everything is important, is to devote their attention to the candidates. There is no room at the 3-day Cursillo, nor in the Cursillo movement, for people to be giving orders or to order about. However, we must always act with order. The further work, the person-to-person technique, also known as the personal contact, as I was explaining earlier, is one-to-one communication between the leader and the candidate in order to understand what the candidate is like, what he can become, how to help him, what he can be. This personal dialogue and sharing of the leaders with the candidates must be done on the basis of friendship and sincerity. Only sincere friendship will offer ways for effective openness and dialogue. The technique uses opportunity, gentleness, and tact, and is carried out in the apostolic spirit. The idea is to make friends with each person so that the candidates will make friends with each other and all will become friends with Christ. Therefore, the lay leaders and the clergy engage in personal contact with the candidates during the table group discussions, meals, and breaks. So like in our 3-day weekend, we would always rotate. We cannot sit at the same group of people for every meal because that's our chance for personal contact. But